left off of the row. So we need to have another row to put those extra shoes on there, and they'll all fit comfortably. All right? Any questions? All right, moving on to Andy and his towers. Andy built the towers shown using the rule each story has 4 blocks. And even though we don't have the towers, do we know what tower it is? Do we know what kind of tower it is?
No.
According to the problem, we don't know what kind of tower it is. So we're not worried about using the expression for a single, double, corner, or square. All we are doing is just reading the information. So each story has 4 blocks. So that means his first story is how many? 4 blocks. How many blocks will a 10-story tower have?
Easy.
What are you doing for this one, Christian?
Multiplying 4 times 10.
Multiplying 4 times 10. 10 times 4 equals how many?
40.
He's going to have 40 blocks. All right, let's look at another one, just like it. Andy built towers shown using the rule each story has 6 blocks. How many blocks will 13-story tower have? This is similar to the one that I gave you all. Josie. Equals? Correct.
Yes! We did that one already.
All right, next page. We're still working with Andy and some of his towers. So 6A says, Andy built the tower shown using the rule each story has 3 blocks. Which equation represents the number of blocks B in the table below? So number of stories, number of blocks. Well, right now I know this. If I'm on the first story, I have 3. If I'm on the third, I have 9. If I'm on the fifth, I don't know because it's a B. But just from looking at the first and the third, it looks like I'm doing the number of stories times 3. 1 times 3 equals what?
3.
So 2 times 3 equals? 3 times 3 equals? 4 times 3 equals?
12. That was easy. 5 times 3 equals.
And 5 times 3 equals?
15.
So 15 should go here.
Here.
Just like the last 2 we did, except you actually have a chart. Let's look at 6B. Now 6B, you need to make some changes.
Yeah, because that's
6B should be changed for the following. 12 should be a what? 16. And then you have to find B. Now, Andy built the tower shown using the rule each story has 4 blocks. Which equation represents the number of blocks B in the table below? So automatically, I'm going number of stories times
4.
4. Okay? 1 times 4 equals?
4.
2 times 4 equals?
8.
3 times 4 equals?
12.
4 times 4 equals?
16.
And 4 times 8 equals?
32.
32. All right, let's take a look at number 7. Janet's penny jar starts with 5 pennies. Then 7 pennies are added in each round. P stands for the total number of pennies in the jar after a given round. Which 2 equations show how to find the total number of pennies in the jar after round 11? So here's what I like to do for problems like this. I like to read it and I like to write the equation for myself. So I'm going to go P equals round, I'm looking for round 11, times pennies added, which are 7, plus my start, which is 5. It could be this, or it could be P equals 11 times 7 plus 5. Now I'm looking for these 2 equations somewhere down here. The first one says P equals 5 times 11. That's not it. The second one says 7 times 5 plus 11. That's not it because that's out of order. The third one says P equals 5 plus 11 times 7. Well, that's the same thing. It's just flipped around, so I can use that one. This one says P equals 5 plus 7 times 11. That's the same thing, just flipped around. I can use this one. And the last one says 11 times 7 plus 5. Can't use that one. So you can only use E and B.
B.
Going to the next page. Now, this one tells you what kind of tower you're working with. There are 13 floors in a single tower made with connecting cubes. A single tower. How many cubes does it take to make a single tower? Christian? Just one. So, if we have 13 floors in a single tower, how many cubes do we have in all? Josie? 13. Write your answer. How many windows, including the skylight, does the tower have? And write your answer below. Well, here we go. Now, we know with problems like this, it could be one or two expressions, but we're going to go with the one that's the easiest. The expression is going to be W equals floor times 4 plus 1. So the floors we have are 13. We're going to multiply by 4, and we're going to add that skylight. Well, 13 times 4 is equal to what, Isaiah? 52. And you add that skylight, you should have 53 windows. Okay? And you can also use your chart to help you too. Let's not forget, if we're not good with the expression, we have the chart to rely on. With the tower, you start, and that's your first one. So with the single tower, how many we start with? Isaiah? 5, and then we add
4.
So the second floor is 3rd,
13.
4th,
17.
5th,
21.
6th,
25.
7th,
29.
8th,
33.
9th,
37.
10th,
41.
11th,
45.
12th,
49.
13th.
52. Oh, 53. Yeah, 53.
There you go. 53 and 53. Okay. Number 9. Just like those other problems we were working with. How many chairs are needed for 10 tables? Choose the expression that shows how many chairs are needed. So if you're looking at tables versus chairs, 6 chairs go to 1 table, 12 chairs go to 2, 18 to 3, 24 to 4, 30 to 5. Well, it looks like we're doing tables times.
Tables times
Elena?
6.
6. Tables times 6. So if we have 10 tables, that's going to be 10 times equals 60. Where do we see that? C.
6. Let's go. It's got 1 table equals 6. And the 5 you could have done.
All right.
I know what the next one.
Number 10. Joelle starts with $10 in her piggy bank and then adds $4 each week. Which two amounts do not fit this pattern for Joelle to have in her piggy bank? Show your work. This sounds like a what type of problem? A what, Noah? Jar problem. A penny jar does, but we're just using dollars in piggy banks. So we're going to start by drawing our chart. We start with how much money?
10.
And every day we add.
4.
So the first round you have.
14.
Second.
18.
Third.
24.
18 plus 4. 4. 5th. 6. 7. And 8. Now, let's look at what we have as an option. Which two are not apart? Do we have $22?
Yes.
So we're not going to select that one. Do we have $27?
No.
So we will check that off. Do we have 30?
Yes.
Not going to use that one. 34?
Yes.
Not going to use that one. 39?
No.
No. We'll check that one. So B and E.
B. You have D.
B and E. Going to the next page. 11. Now this one is very, very tricky. A garden has 12 rows of plants. The first row has 15 plants. The remaining rows have 30 plants in each row. What is the total number of plants in the garden? So, Mrs. Cobb likes to draw her charts. So I'm going to come over here because I know I'm going to need some extra space. So I start with how many?
15 in one row.
In one row. And I have how many rows in all?
12.
Okay. So my second row, how many do I add to it?
30.
So I now have how many on my second row?
45.
45. My third row?
75.
My fourth?
105.
105. My fifth?
135.
My sixth?
165.
My seventh?
195.
My eighth?
125.
225. My ninth? My 10th?
285.
285. My 11th?
315.
And my 12th row?
345. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, Miss Carl, you could have just did
So how many do we have in all?
345.
345.
Oh, Miss Carl, you could have just did 30 times 11 and then
Add 15. That's also true. You could do 30 times 11 plus 15. The 11 represents the 30 plants behind the 15th, and that gives you 12 rows, which is equal to 345. All right, now, number 12. A single tower of connecting cubes has 29 windows, including the skylight. How many cubes are in the single tower?
9.
Isaiah, what do we do to find out?
It's easy. I multiplied 4 times 7 because I knew that each cube on the bottom cube, once you add another cube on, is going to have 4 windows.
Correct?
So 4 windows and 7 is that's 28, but you have to include the skylight.
And the skylight is represented by the number?
1.
So there should be 29. So it would be B. 7 times 4 is 28, plus 1 gives you 29. The next one is just like the last one. It's another single tower, but you have 37 windows in all. All right. So now you're trying to figure out what times what plus 1 gives you 37. And you know, one of these numbers is going to be a 4. So what can you do times 4 to get you close to 37?
Ooh.
Noah. 9. 9 times 4 equals what?
36.
Plus 1.
37.
That is correct.
There we go.
All right, next page.
Swear.
James is collecting rocks for his rock collection. He has 4 rocks to begin with. Each day he finds 5 more to add to his collection. Which expression shows how many rocks Malik will have after 100 days? Now, this one looks like a jar. It looks like a jar. Excuse me. So, we have to go P equals, what days are we looking for? 100 times, how many? 5.
4 plus 100.
Where do you see the expression written?
Yes.
A. And below is just the chart with his rocks and the days. Do we need that chart? No, but this is what you needed to pay attention to. You need to write an expression to tell how many rocks he would have after 100 days. Let's go to the next page.
And so there's something wrong with the next page for 13. It says.
All right. Elizabeth is collecting rocks for his rock collection. I think that should be she, for her.
For her.
She has 7 rocks to begin with. Each day she finds 9 more to add to her collection. Which expression shows how many rocks Elizabeth, not Malik, will have after 100 days? So Elizabeth is looking for almost the same amount of rocks, but we're doing the same thing. So P equals 100 times 9 plus. Where do you see that one? A.
I was trying to say that Malik has 7 rocks to begin with.
And B.
I think so.
All right, 14. And again, it's a chart below that, so we don't really need the chart. We just needed to find the expression.
It don't say
A model train engine is 10 inches long. Each additional train car measures 5 inches. Now, here's the typo here. I found the typo in this review packet. This right here should be a 5. Okay? So, if you notice, I changed it to 5. In this equation, T stands for the total length of the train, which equation shows the total length of the train in inches if the train has 20 train cars. What does this sound like to you? What kind of situation is that? Noah. Multiplication is inside of it, but what kind of situation is it? A tower or a penny type situation? Arturo. Penny is like a penny. Except we're just talking about trains. Only thing that changes is the objects. So, what is the expression that we're using? Notice that we're looking for the length of train if it has 20 train cars, and each additional train car is 5 inches, but the train starts off as being 10 inches long. What's that expression going to be? Isaiah.
10 plus 20 times 5.
Okay, so we'll have 20 times 5 because that's the number of cars we're looking for that we have, and we know that that will be our round. The 20 train cars will be the round. The 5 inches is what's added each day, so that's round times pennies added, or for instance, train times train car added, plus to start with your beginning is 10. So the closest thing to that, you got 10 plus T times 5, that's not going to do it. 10 T plus 10 times 5, that's not going to do it. T equals 10 times 20. The only one that could work is the one that I changed that 6 to a 5. T equals 10 plus 20 times 5.
I didn't change to a 5, but I just knew it had to be 5. 6.
All right. Next page.
Oh, yes.
Last page.
Page of the day.
A model train engine is 15 inches long, just like the last one. Each additional train car measures 8, which would be your add number. In the equations, T stands for the total length of the train, which equation shows the total length of the train in inches if the train has 30 train cars. Those are your rounds. So P equals round times pennies added plus start number. Instead, we're doing T equals 30 times 8 plus 15. Where do we see that? A. All right, and the last question. Selena is making a quilt. She has 5 quilt patches to begin with. Each day, she adds 6 more patches to the quilt. When numbers complete the table, you start with 5. 5 plus 6 is 11 plus 6,
17.
23. 17 plus 6 is 23 plus 6, 29 plus 6, 35 plus 6, 41. And that is the end.